Whoa. Oh, hey. Sorry. I was dreaming of an amazing toy. The RØDECaster DUO isn't only a complete audio production machine. This thing is also a full-fledged toy. I get more dopamine from this than from my iPhone. This baby is really fun and popular among YouTubers, video podcasters, and content creators. But is it really necessary for your specific setup? I know you're just dying to press on these little colorful buttons and find out what it is they do. Let's unpack this together and find out about all of its functionality so that we can look at your specific setup and figure out if this is the right beautiful baby machine for you. No, you stop. Welcome to PSS, I'm Steven, and every Wednesday you can join me for Get Creative, where we unpack and take a look at my favorite creative media tools. And it's no surprise that we're unpacking the RØDECaster DUO because this is truly an amazing piece of equipment, especially when you pair it up with Rode's other gear like their wireless microphones. It has also revolutionized the way that people live stream, but many people are purchasing it who don't really need it. So let's take a look at all of its functions and all of the fun things that this thing does, and then I will explain why or why not you may want to include this in your studio. Let's go! So let's talk about the functionality of this amazing toy, and is it up to par with other professional audio recording options? Is this the right piece of gear for you, for your video podcast, for your YouTube channel, or for your audio-only podcast?
Oh. Okay, this is seriously the best part.
So first off, I think it's important to know that this truly is a combo audio production unit. It has tons of capabilities when it comes to audio production. It works as an audio interface. It has preamps in it that will power any kind of microphone you want. It also has all of these buttons that have sound effects and music so that it can be a live streaming board as well. Also, you can put a micro SD card into it and record directly into the board. So many people will use this to record their audio only podcast on the go, or to use this machine to actually record the audio for their content, and then they sync up the audio that they record on this machine with the video that they record on their cameras afterwards in post-production. On the back of the board, we have these two XLR inputs here, so you can plug in any type of XLR microphone you want into this bad Larry. We've got two outputs that you can plug into speakers, and also two outputs for two different headphones, and two different headphone volume control knobs right at the top. So once you select which type of microphone you want to plug in, either to this pink channel here or the green channel, it actually has some presets with nifty little pictures inside, including the classic Electrovoice RE20 broadcast microphone and the world famous SM7B. When you select the microphone that you want to use, it will actually apply the most common type of post-processing effects that are used with this exact microphone. So this is an incredibly unique feature and also incredibly helpful feature for us, built right into an audio production board. The most common effects that we use on our podcast voices are compression, EQ, de-essing, and also noise reduction. Any professional podcast voice is going to have a combination of those effects. And so this board already builds that into any type of microphone that you plug into it. And the effects are actually very impressive. Setting up the RØDECaster DUO is so easy. There's this little button, English, and then we can set the date and time. I don't know what time it is or what day it is. The date is, Lance, what day and time is it?
Right now, it's March 2nd, 2025.
These knobs are so intuitive. Wherever you're clicked on something, this big knob changes the numbers around. 1:25 and 32 seconds. It is in the PM. I like the 12-hour thing. I don't think I need the date and time on my home screen. I'll press the cute blue arrow. And here is where it will prompt you to get connected. And this is awesome because we can download the Rode Central app. The Rode Central app is a must-have for all of your Rode equipment. And now it has a setup wizard that we can walk through, or we can import an existing show, or we can just do the default, which is what I like to do. And you can give this the name of your show. So I'll name this the name of my show here, Get Creative. And we get to select one of these cool icons. I'm gonna have to choose this gato with the blue eyes here and press the green arrow. Get creative, you're ready to go. And now here we are in the board ready to go. Well, okay, let's get connected. The Rode Central app is an easy download. I will allow. So now I click Rode Central app and it tells me, hey, if you don't already have the Rode Central app, download it here with this cool QR code. I already have it, so the RØDECaster DUO shows up here. And I'll click on the red arrow pointing upward, meaning, hey, update the firmware on this puppy.
Are you updating the firmware on the puppy? Who's the old man that joined the session? Is that guy a grandpa?
Could this take any longer, I wonder? The perfect time for a cup of joe. And the update is complete. We can now press get started here, and you can leave those statistics selected on, press the blue arrow, and you'll notice that the update is complete over here as well too. Once the update's complete on our computer, we can say close. And now you can update the RØDECaster DUO here through the Rode Central app, which can be really convenient. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but trust me, this is worth it. If you're looking to build a pro-level video podcast studio without all the guesswork and complicated gear decisions, meet our brand new Studio Blueprint Builder. We're talking about an interactive drag and drop tool that helps you map out your exact room dimensions and customize our ready-made Canva templates to fit your space perfectly. We'll guide you through the best camera, lighting, and microphone choices for your unique layout, complete with curated Amazon links so you can shop confidently without the guesswork. This is the exact process we use to set up studios for top-tier shows, and now you can do it too. So what do you say? You ready to build your studio? Head over to pss.media/shop and build your dream studio. Let's get you looking and sounding pro. All right, now back to the show. As an audio interface and also as an effects unit, how does the quality of this compare to other professional audio interfaces on the market? And how do the effects inside of this box compare to professional post-processing effects used by audio professionals? If you didn't know, audio engineering is actually my background, and at PSS Creative Media, we have conducted numerous experiments with this board and with tons of Rode equipment. We're huge Rode fans, and I am always very impressed by the results. With that being said, depending on your workflow, and especially if you're working with a professional editor in post-production, the better option for you would be to actually bypass the effects on this unit and then leave it up to your editor to use their post-production editing plugins later. They will almost always get a much higher quality sound because they know how to use their tools, and it's not printed to your audio. It's actually adjustable later. The danger that you have with having your effects right here printed onto your microphone is that what you record is what you get. However, this has really revolutionized the way that people live stream, because now you can live stream directly to your audience with those classic podcast effects on your voice. And you could do this with whatever microphone you're using, a wireless microphone, a lavalier clip-on microphone like this. And that way your audio signal is treated that your live audience hears. You won't have any computer buzz. You'll have a nice compressed podcast voice, which will help articulation and clarity. You'll sound like a professional. But as I said, if you're doing a showdown, you're in a professional digital audio workstation in a studio, and you're comparing the audio that these plugins get compared with audio plugins like Waves plugins that a professional is using, you'll almost always get a better sound that way. But here is a constant juggling act, or a balance that we're trying to achieve as content creators. We're trying to achieve the highest level of quality, both with video and audio, while also increasing our workflow efficiency. So sometimes we make sacrifices, and sometimes we're okay to eat 5% of quality just to get a better, more efficient workflow happening. Connecting any of the Rode wireless equipment directly to the Duo is really simple. All you have to do is pick a channel that you want to connect a wireless device to. I'll pick this pink one right here. And then we can just scroll over to where it says wireless. And here it will say pair new device. So first I'll have to turn on this device by pressing the button on the bottom. And now it's blinking, waiting to pair. So when I press pair new device here, now I just press this button again once. And would you look at that? It's paired. You could do this as easily with any of the wireless transmitters. You don't even need the receiver. The board itself acts as a receiver. What about the audio interface itself, which are really the components inside the machine? The two most important components that make up an audio interface are a preamp and an AD or DA converter, analog to digital converter. And this has a great converter in it. Sounds great, comparable to any other consumer level audio interface. The preamps maybe not quite as good as some of the other ones you'll get on the market by themselves. And what a preamp does is that really gives the microphone power. So you do get a little bit more of a digital sound with this, perhaps not as much body or warmth that you would get with a more professional end audio interface, but that really isn't the purpose of this machine anyway. So if you're trying to record an audio book, or you're doing voiceover for a film, or you're singing perhaps, and you want your voice to sound as high of quality as it can for a record, then this might not be the board for you. And already when you plug one of these things up to the board, it sounds so good. But you can continue to adjust and play with the sound of it. Again, in this area, you can adjust your gain. It has an auto gain assist. And part of why it sounds so good is because the Rode microphones all default to have this processing on it. Without the processing, you can hear the subtle fans that I have going here in the background. The processing puts noise reduction, compression, EQ, and all that great fancy broadcast voice stuff that we love, puts it right on your audio. And then remember, the board had some effects that came with it. These ones right here, we have a pitch up, a monster, and a small robot. So for those special touches in your live performance or in your episode when you need
to, I don't know, pitch up your voice a little bit.
or
Maybe you need to talk like a monster.
Or you want to sound a little bit more like a robot. Or maybe you have a segment where AI is talking to you.
I like this one for a big announcement. Welcome to the podcast. Get out of here, Steven! Steven!
And the other thing to think about with this board, and perhaps why we all want to own one, is the fun, colorful buttons that we want to push. Now, when it comes to your weekly content workflow, what purpose will you have in having sound effects and music available for you at the click of a button? And really the only purpose you're going to have for that is for live streaming. Or if you're going to get so good with your show that you want to perform your show live and just do it all in one pass. And so that way you can get smart about the way that you and your co-host, for example, perform your show. And you can actually put the sound effects in there live as you're doing it, even if you're not streaming to a live audience. And that way you limit the amount of editing that you have to do, and the audio, the music, and the sound effects, all of that will be printed on that stereo output that you're recording to the card here. There are different routing options. This thing actually gets very advanced. So right out of the box, the Duo comes with some built-in sound effects, music, and voice effects that you can put on any of your microphones. And all of these effects will play through this last track here. So if you turn the volume up on this last track here and start clicking on these buttons, you'll see what has been programmed in here right out of the box. We got some little host music. We have a sad trombone. We have an air horn. Some applause. A record scratch. And some crickets. These are amazing, and actually the only one I don't really like or wouldn't use myself is the air horn. These pads, however, are entirely customizable, and using the Rode Central app, you can customize these pads and drag in your own files. Check it out. Right over here, we've got customized smart pads. When you click on it, it'll say, are you sure you want to do this? Click continue, and the Rode will enter into transfer mode zone.
Transfer mode. The Rode will enter into transfer mode.
Now, if you're wondering why there's a chicken here, that's just not some random mistake. This is Martita. Martita makes regular guest appearances on Veronica's live streams. Since I'm the guy pressing the buttons behind the scenes on her live streams, I'd love to program some chicken sounds into some of these pads. Check out how easy that is. Over here, I'll just press this arrow, maybe go to a new bank, and this can be my whole new custom bank that I create with my own sound effects. I've downloaded a couple chicken sounds here, and I can actually just grab the chicken sounds I want and drop them onto the button I want to create. And look, it already assigned a color for me, which is awesome, but if I wanted to change the color of the button for whatever reason, I could. In this way, you could categorize things maybe in colors, songs one color, sound effects another color, or just whatever you want. There's some other options with each of the buttons that you can choose here, either to toggle, to loop, or to continue, or to replay. Replay is my preferred preference because if you do continue, what it will do is if you press the button, and then you press it to stop, when you press the button again, it'll continue playing it. There's use cases for this, but my preference is to keep this at replay. I also don't want the chicken sound effect to loop. So now Martita has a little sound effect. Well, let's throw another one in there. Simply drag and drop right into it. It will assign the pad, and it gave it a purple color. What does that sound like? Ooh, I like that one better. You can continue this process with any kind of sound effects that you'd like, and also your own custom music, your own branded music. And I just love these sound effects here as well. So overall, who should own this? Everyone, because as I mentioned, it's really fun to play with. But I will also tell you that many of our clients that we have met both virtually with and flown to their locations to help them build their podcast studios, most of them had one of these or something similar. And most of them wound up never using it. We actually wound up purchasing equipment that was much better and even easier for them to use for their situation. So if you just want really good audio, you have a few different options. Are you going to record directly into your computer, or are you going to be recording to a camera? Well, then maybe a more simple option would be like something what I'm doing here, which is this wireless me camera going directly into my Sony camera that way. Also, if you're just going to be doing a remote video podcast or recording your podcast solo directly into your computer, then just a simple USB mic would be a way better option for you and a lot easier to use. All these bells and whistles and buttons, they're very fun. But if you're not going to be live streaming, if you're not really going to be putting on a show where you want access to all of those things, and if you're not going to be managing multiple inputs and it's just you going solo, then this RØDECaster Duo is not really going to find its way into your production workflow on a weekly basis. However, if you do want the flexibility to record anywhere you want, multiple microphones, actually have this thing work as a receiver for wireless microphones. Take this on the road and record your audio-only podcast directly into the machine. You don't even need to bring your laptop with you. Or if you have a more professional workflow where you're going to record the audio separate from the video and then send the audio and video files to your editor afterwards, this could also be a really cool machine for you. Okay, so now that you've had the overview and decided if the Duo is a right pick for you, check out these cool in-depth, complete step-by-step walkthroughs of 2 different awesome setups you can do with the Duo for video podcasting, live streaming, and even multicam setups. Enjoy.